Today we're going to take a quick look at the Chevy Silverado. This is the 2013 model with a nice bright red paint. In case you're wondering what that smeared stuff is on the bodywork, it's an old off-roading trick. You coat the side with gobs and gobs of wax and you don't wipe it off. That way if you brush up against a tree or thorn bush, it protects the paint. It's an old trick and it works quite well, by the way. One thing I liked about the Silverado is that it had lots and lots of room inside the cab and plenty of room in the bed for all the nasty firewood and gasoline you don't want to put inside an SUV. We packed everything in this vehicle for this camping trip and still had lots of room left over. It's a camping rig. This is one of my favorite vehicles I've used. Most four-wheel drive pickup trucks have a part-time four-wheel drive system that can only be used off-road, not on the pavement. Chevrolet has an optional system that provides part-time four-wheel drive for rough driving off-road, and an all-wheel drive system that can be used on the pavement for light-duty driving like this on sandy roads. It costs a bit more to order, but it's definitely worth it. Chevrolet has a reputation for having nice interiors on their trucks, and this certainly lives up to it. The materials look very good. The fit between the panels is excellent. Have a nice driving position. All the controls are very easy to use and understand. The rear seating has lots of room and is comfortable. Of course, the only gripe I had concerning that brake pedal gas pedal relationship I described earlier because of the gap between the two. But aside from that, this is a very nice interior and I give it a very high rating. Chevrolet did a good job here. When I first drove this truck with the Z71 suspension, I wasn't overly impressed. I thought the steering was a little bit too loose and the stability wasn't that great at high highway speeds. However, I did put a little bit of weight in the bed, and after that everything smoothed out just fine. I think the rule here is if you're going to haul heavy loads or lots of people and gear, the Z71 suspension is going to work great. But if you're getting the truck just to drive to work and back, you might be better off with the base suspension. In any case, the ride quality of this truck though was very, very smooth, even going off-road. So I have no complaints there. The brakes on this truck are very nice. You have lots of firm pedal feel, very responsive, no mushiness at all. And the truck is very quiet. You've got a very nice solid body here. Overall in driving, I'd give it a very nice rating. The one flaw I found on the Silverado is a basic flaw I find on all Chevy GM trucks, and that's the relationship between the brake pedal and the gas pedal. Bottom line is the brake pedal is mounted too high and too far away from the gas pedal. So instead of moving your foot with your toe, you have to move your entire leg to go from brake to gas, gas to brake. That is, unless you have a size 16 shoe. I'm told this is done for liability reasons because the attorneys are afraid you might hit the gas pedal by accident. Frankly, for all the inconvenience this causes, I think it's totally ridiculous. I solved the problem, so to speak, by taping a wooden block on the gas pedal about 1 inch high. There are other alternatives to do this. Your mechanic can modify these to your liking too. In the meantime, this is not very good and not very comfortable to use, but it can be modified. In relation to this particular vehicle, one thing I can live without are these steps. Now if you got a two-wheel drive truck, I could see, but this is a 4x4. You need all the ground clearance you can get, and this totally ruins the ground clearance ability when you're going over big rocks and items like that. If you do a lot of four-wheeling in rocky country, this item here is going to be destroyed. There are better alternatives for stepping on a vehicle than this. Of course, if you like it, you can always get it. We've already seen the Silverado while it's dirty and muddy, so I thought we'd take a look at the Silverado while it's nice and clean with this nice bright red paint and take a look at the engine choices. I had the 5.3 liter V8 that puts out 315 horsepower. Gas mileage rating is 17 to 21. In the real world I got 16 to 20. It does a pretty good job of pulling the weight, especially if you've got the tow rating of 10,000 pounds. I think this would be your best choice, unless you want to move up to the 6.2 liter that puts out 403 horsepower and uses a slight amount more of gas. There's some other engine choices available. You've got a 4.3 liter V6 at 195 horsepower. I don't recommend it. It comes with an antique 4-speed automatic and is only rated at 15 to 20 miles per gallon, which is less than this V8. It's mainly for fleet buyers. There's also a 4.8 liter V8 putting out 302 horsepower with a flex fuel capability, but it also has the antique 4-speed automatic, which is going to hurt performance on the highway. This 5.3 is still a better choice. There's also a 6.0 hybrid available. The only advantage of that engine is it gets a rating of 20 in the city and 23 on the highway. If you do a lot of city driving, lots and lots of city driving, it might pay for itself. Otherwise, I think the two 6.2 or 5.3 liter choices are your best pick. Overall, I was impressed with the Silverado quad cab. It's a nice truck, but you have to be careful with the options. Aside from the smaller engine, this truck was loaded up with just about everything and approached the $49,000 mark. If you get the dually package with diesel engines, they can start creeping up to the $65,000. On the other hand, if you want something cheap and economical, you can get one with a base 6-cylinder engine stripped down for approximately $22,000. So it's not a matter of being a good or bad truck, it's a matter of getting good or bad options that fit your lifestyle. Either way, the Silverado is a pretty nice rig and I enjoy driving it.